Insight there from Shane O'Sullivan as to what these guys are up against. We are joined now by our next guest, which is of course second place finisher today, Danny O'Callaghan. Danny, very welcome to the studio. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks a million. Just up from fixing the car there, so.
Which is a common thing for you this season. You've had a bit of a mixed bag, but
hard to take that car, so it is.
Yeah. So I remember round one. Talk us through. You had a bit of an explosion with one of your prop shaft, was it?
I got a new gearbox and done a quick job, making up a shaft. And obviously it didn't pay out. Came through the floor.
Yeah.
Nearly killed me.
I remember taking a picture of that and showing it just to some of the other guys that hadn't been around and seen it, and they were just so shocked that you were so lucky to come away without actually being injured.
Thankfully.
But you managed to get that car. You got a new tunnel put in.
New tunnel.
You brought it back for round two.
Round two, I don't know, something else. Spun out against Dan Muirhead,
yeah. What stage of the competition was that?
Top 16.
Top 16, yeah. Dan was really on it that weekend, but
he done well. He got through the following day.
But you've come back now round three. You've qualified into tomorrow's main event. We'll come to that in just a moment. But you finished second place on the podium. How does that feel? I mean, you're only your first season in the Pro-Am Championship. Another Pro-Am driver on the podium, and it must be a really great feeling for you.
I'm delighted. I never thought I'd get to even top four today. The way the car was going all weekend, I had to change the diff. Friday's practice, nothing was going right, so changed the diff, and then it sort of fell into place after that.
And a new layout here in Mondello this weekend, but I suppose a layout that some of the IDC drivers that qualified into the Pro-Am competition might be, I suppose, slightly familiar with due to some of the tracks that you've run in the past. You've used that oval quite a bit. Yeah,
we done it at the start of the year, but it was wet. It was a lot shorter of a run up, but the run up was completely different today, totally different diff ratio, a lot faster, a lot longer, walls. None of that was in the IDC.
Yeah, so while it's similar, while there's a lot of similarities, there's a lot of big differences there as well, I suppose, from your perspective.
Big differences and better drivers.
The track itself seemed to lend itself quite well to close battles. You came through a good few yourself, and you were definitely one of the most exciting drivers from my point of view out there today. I mean, you didn't have an easy path. Your first battle was up against Tommy Nolan. Obviously he qualified down the order a bit, but then you came up against
Joe Roberts. Yeah, and I knew that. I've been competing against Joe last year in NI Drift Series, and I knew he's a good driver. He pushes. There's no he just goes for so I knew I had to go for it as well. So that was probably my toughest battle of the day.
So I suppose coming up against a guy like Joe, you know his style. You've run with him in the past. You can trust him. So does that help your mindset when you're on the line, knowing that you can kind of give it your all and not have to back away from anything when you?
Yeah, I knew chasing Joe that he'd go for it. So there would be no braking coming to initiation or any of that. He'd just go for it. And
Joe was really on it today himself as well. I mean, qualified in 18th position, but in the battles he looked so strong in his top 32 run. You went up against Ryan Morton then after that.
Yeah.
Ryan was looking very comfortable as well. He was on a very solid line, but it looked like, I suppose, in many ways you outcarred him there. You were quite a lot quicker than him.
Yeah, on the start line I sort of got away from him on the run up to initiation. I got away, and then I sort of kept that distance, but I knew he'd come after me then, on his run, so I sort of just stuck to him.
So you made it then to the final. You came up against Derek Newsom. Talk us through that particular battle. I suppose the rain just started again.
It wasn't really the rain. I knew my power steering. It was faulty. It was in and out. It was going hard. So after the first run, it was completely gone. And then in the second run, and I threw it, and it went stiff, and I knew it was gone. And then my filter came off my engine. That's where all the oil in the track was. So lucky.
And there's quite a bit of it out there.
Lucky I got the car stopped in time.
That was the lead up to it. You hitting the wall.
Yeah.
So second place on the podium. You're in the main event tomorrow. That must really excite you, I suppose. I mean, that's there's drivers from all over Europe. Only a few months ago, you were competing here in the Amateur Championship in the Winter Series, and now all of a sudden you're staring down the opportunity of going up against some of the best in Europe and, of course, Ireland.
Yeah, it's good. Like Dwayne McKeever, Jackson, and all them boys. You only just want to run against them. And tomorrow, hopefully, I get to do that.
Well, you'll definitely get a chance in practice. Please God, you'll qualify and get a chance to go up against them for real. If there was one driver, I suppose, that you could battle and beat, who would it be and why?
Richard Bradley, just because he works on my car.
So Richard, you know what to do the next time you have Danny's car in front of you, just fiddle with it. So
Put his oil filter on.
So look, Danny, congratulations today.
Yeah.
We won't take up any more of your time, and we wish you all the best for tomorrow as well.
Thanks a million, man.